We're going to stay here all night if we have to, so let's get started.
It's time, America, for the #1 conservative common sense podcast that's calling out all the social justice, political correctness crap and putting it on the run.
Do you think you can handle it?
So hop in and buckle up and get ready to ride with two straight-shooting, tell it like it is, ex-street cops.
And they know how to party with few inhibitions.
As they give the special interest and weak-kneed politicians a swift kick in the ass.
Wow, is that legal?
With some good old-fashioned common sense.
Bring it on, baby.
It's Cop Talk USA with your hosts, Murillo and French.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Cop Talk USA, our 6th edition. I'm here with my buddy, Dave Murillo. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? What's up, Roger? You all right?
I've had a tough week. I'm
Yeah,
a little wound
yeah.
up. I'm gonna get
Me
get
too.
on some people
Me too.
today.
Me too.
They're gonna get it. But
little PO'd.
overall, my Cyclones won, so that kind of helps.
At least they didn't lay an egg like my Valley Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. They something happened.
I will tell you, that's the first time I have watched high school football on TV.
That was a great game.
It was as good as any college game
Yeah.
I've seen. That quarterback for Dowling,
Stud.
oh my word,
Stud.
He could throw it. Now I know the folks out in Minnesota don't know what we're talking about, but
It's the state of Iowa's most followed high school football rivalry. I'm a Valley grad, and Ray Gallardo's a Dowling grad.
Well, I graduated. My mom threatened to sue the school for graduating me, but it was one of those deals. But overall, it was a good weekend. I had a little issue with Facebook.
Right,
There's a
sure.
shocker,
Yeah.
but I did better. I didn't get suspended or locked in Facebook jail, and I took some blows.
How is that Facebook jail food? Is it okay?
Oh yeah, that's about what are you gonna say? But I was on there and I commented, and this is how it usually goes. Somebody does a post, and I comment, and then all of a sudden the fist fight's on.
Yep.
Well, there was a couple of kids down in South Carolina, and they had shorts. One kid had shorts, like a 10-year-old shorts, and the other one had a T-shirt, and they were made out of the Confederate flag.
Mm-hmm.
And people were all upset. And I said, look, my comment, the original comment was, I think this is probably a First Amendment, free speech issue. I said, I'd be interested to see what the ACLU said about it. Because, those guys stick up for everybody, pedophiles, you name it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, they got on me. You have thought I was promoting slavery again. And, the funny thing was it was Karen and Travis and Chad from like the Gap and over getting their Starbucks latte or at the soccer deal. They're, not one person of color got on me, but these people, they were hurt. And they didn't and I kept saying, look, I'm not for that, but I'm for free speech. That's what people died for in our country. So, that went on. And one of the things Facebook has done, I've noticed, is you get about 3 shots in, and then they limit the conversation. So you can't do it anymore.
It's called censorship.
Well, they did it. But so I was a little perturbed and put out by that. But, other than that.
Well, Roger, what you failed to remember was that the radical left white progressive movement has pirated race. It's now part of their narrative, okay? Yeah. And so they're going to look out for folks of, who have permanent tans. They look out for me. They look out for my black friends. We didn't ask them to. They just do it.
Well, that's why I said, look, before you people all are, it's a bunch of people looking to be butthurt for a reason. I said, before you get all butthurt about this, I'm talking about free speech. I'm not saying they need to do the Confederate flag, but anyway, they weren't listening. They were
the left is all for free speech as long as it's their
free speech. That's exactly right.
It's their words.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did that. Of course, I was watching the John Gruden thing, and I want to get your spin. What's your opinion about the Gruden thing?
We got to stop this type of antiquated, archived information leaking that ruins people's lives.
Right.
I think it's long overdue that we stop this. And once again, this is part of the left's MO. This is how they operate. And this guy said some things 10, 12 years ago that I'm sure first of all, he's not a racist. His football teams are primarily composed of African-American guys. He would have been called on the carpet years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says things in private that they don't want repeated in the public forum. So now they take this guy and they force him to resign. And it's just more of this social sickness that has permeated America.
Well, you're right. Actions speak louder than words. We've all been taught that. So you can say nice things, but if you're a bad guy and go out this. In this case, it was reversed. He said some things that may have been questionable. I think he made fun of some people, and it was probably wrong. But those are personal questions that he's having, or personal conversations he's having with. Now, do we put that kind of stuff in writing? Probably not, but nobody expects them to go back 10 years and start looking at your emails.
No.
So the point I'm getting at is, here's a guy who was clowning around. He said some things that were offensive, but his overall actions, like you said, don't reflect that. And that kind of the same thing happened to Tom Conley. Good guy, runs a good organization, except I kind of agree with some of the stuff he said. He was involved in those emails, and he called out the BLM folks, said they were terrorists, and so I kind of agree with some of that. But again, it was leaked out. It was a private conversation, and it cost that poor man
That's the world we live in. If the left doesn't like what you're saying, you're automatically a racist, a homophobe, a misogynist, you're sexist. I mean, they've got a label for everything and everyone that doesn't. Don't agree with.
If we don't stop here, what's next? They're going to start talking on your cell phone, seeing what you say on your cell phones. I mean, it's just, where's our personal, private? You don't go through my mail. I mean,
Sleepy Joe, he wants to follow all of our banking, anything over $600. Oh, it's got to stop. This isn't China.
Well, first off, what's that going to cost? How many people are you going to have to hire? An army to do that?
80,000 more Internal Revenue Service agents so they can monitor whenever we spend over $600.
This guy spends money like a drunken sailor.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Nothing
against the sailors.
Roger.
Oh, the Karens. The Karens are going to get. Somebody's going to get me. I just step into it all day. So anyway, I was kind of wound up about that, and of course, we've started covering this that a lot of people don't cover. Officers are shot, and since last weekend, and first I'm going to hit a couple statistics here because I found a great new resource, the Officer Down website.
Yeah, very familiar with it.
We've had to date in the U.S. 362 officers that have died in the line of duty to date.
Yep.
We've got, and I can go through this real quick. They've lost 1 to a 9/11 illness, 5 to assaults, 4 from automobile crashes, 231 from COVID. And we're going to talk about that. 3 drowned, 2 were on-duty related illnesses, 49 of them were shot. 1 was shot by inadvertent gunfire. He had a gun, he dropped it. It went off. 15 heart attacks, 3 motorcycle crashes, 3 stabs, 12 were struck by vehicles. There was 1 training accident, 2 vehicle pursuits, 17 vehicle assaults where they were run over, and then 1 natural disaster got them. But the 4 officers that we lost Officer Ryan Hayworth. He was killed when his patrol car was struck behind by a drunk driver. That was in North Carolina, Knightsville, North Carolina, I believe. He was only on the force for 3 months. Deputy Constable Kareem Atkins. This guy was down in Houston. This made a lot of noise. He was shot from behind. He was working off-duty job, him and another officer, and they got called over about a related criminal that was wanted, and they had him, and they had their backs to him, and somebody came up behind him with an AK-47 and shot him, killed him, and when the other officer, a third officer, showed up, they shot him. He's doing all right. We lost an ATF officer, supervisor, Mike Garbo. He was shot and killed while they were doing a search down at the Amtrak station in Tucson. Another officer was shot. They were to do that. And then lastly, Johnny Ruiz, the deputy sheriff that I mentioned last week that was beat. He was assaulted and beat and put in life support. He passed away. So hate to lose those guys, and our prayers go out to them and their families.
Happens every year. This is an annual event.
Well, this is a weekly thing. I mean, we get new guys every week.
And, I'm a news hound like you, Roger, and I follow these events because I did 34 plus years with Des Moines PD.
Right.
And when the black officers are killed in the line of duty, I never see any radical groups rising to their defense or showing up at their funerals or denouncing anything about that. It's just one more layer of hypocrisy that we're living with in this country. It doesn't matter what your skin color is.
Yeah.
Radicals don't like cops.
Well, they're not even raising Cain when black on black crime.
No.
It's only white officers and Hispanic or minority suspects that are getting injured.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
and
you're
then
right.
Make a big deal out of that. So, I mean, I wanted to get that out. We're going to add a new segment to this, and I want to kind of talk real quick today. People asked me to give us a quick preview. We've got some topics we're going to talk about. We've got a great guest here. Raymond Gallardo is on, retired DMPD officer. We're going to talk to him. We've got, of course, our special segments that we all love and like, and we added a couple segments. So we'll be talking about that. So stay tuned to that. Anyway, I want to give some shout-outs to some people.
Yep.
Is there? I mean, did you have anything else you want to talk about on?
No, I just wanted to say,
Yeah.
my shout out today is out to my sister Teresa Murillo Ayala, and her husband and her sons. They all listen in. They love the show.
I see them on Facebook.
Yep.
She keeps you. She
Oh,
stays.
yeah.
She keeps you online. She rides you out.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a few I'm going to read off. Dave Mosier at Range Masters, gentleman we called on because we're going to start just selling some advertising. I told Dave to listen. I told him I'd give him a shout out. Jason Anderson of 5 Star Cleaning. Greg Sparks, friend of mine. Mike and Judy Cruzan, old friends, and they listen to the program regularly. PJ Owens and his sister Sarah, Steve Allen, Tom Hansen. Here's one, Mary Creel. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Creel. She's the branch manager out at Gales.
Oh, yeah.
Great company. They do all the uniforms and stuff.
Yeah.
We saw her. Britton Emery, that's Rich's wife. We shouted out him last time. I want to get her on one day because she deals in her job with a lot of police officers that come help her at some of these group homes that she manages.
Yeah.
So a good person there. Brian Little, Tom Conley. We mentioned him. I like Tom. He's a friend of ours and a friend of the program. He listens. And last but not least, my girl over in Cedar Rapids, Kim Kroll. Kim Cole. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be friends with her very long. I do that. But she's a Iowa State Patrol dispatcher. Her official title is Incident Tactical Dispatcher for the Department of Corrections. Friend of mine and known her for a while. And, great person there. So anyway, that's where we at with that. So that kind of wraps up that segment, our shout-outs. We love those people. And, folks, if you ever want a shout-out, send us an email or text, whatever you can, we'll get you on. Now, I think it's time for Dave's favorite segment.
And now it's time for
Ass Hats of the Week.
It's time.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
He's a real asshole. Oh, right. That's Ray's first time hearing this. He's excited about that. So who you got, buddy?
This woman just tightens my jaw every time I see her on TV. That's old Peppermint Patty. You know who Peppermint Patty is? Jen Psaki.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Biden administration's PIO.
She's a dandy.
Oh, my. Just listen to her spin and twist, be evasive and not tell you anything. Just drives me batty. But here's some background on this princess, okay, that a lot of folks might not be aware of. You know, she's a graduate of William and Mary College, which is about $40,000 to $50,000 a year to go to. Okay, so she's a little princess. She makes $180,000 a year to stand at that podium and tell everybody to circle back.
Yeah, well,
circle back, Roger, and we'll talk about
that's good.
it.
That's good work if you can get it. You know,
and she absolutely. And then she got her start representing this fine group of characters. She worked on their campaigns. Tom Harkin, Tom Vilsack, John Kerry, a.k.a. Frankenstein, Barack Obama, and then she was on the Biden-Harris election team.
Well, those people get in that loop, and they just redigest those people. And they keep.
Maybe I get pissed off too easy, but that's my ass out.
Well,
Jen Psaki.
Well, Jen's she looks like she ought to be working at Bed Bath and Beyond, and maybe getting you some soap or something. I don't know. Well, I've got one, and it's not, ladies and gentlemen, it's not political. I don't really think it's criminal, but I guess it kind of is. But I'm a little upset with the Iowa fans, and I'm upset with one in particular. It's the ass clown over there who decided to throw the beer on the field in the third quarter. Now, I don't know if you guys folks saw this, but there was a beer thrown from the stands, and they sell beer now. This is the first year they've started selling beer in the stadium. It's a pilot program. Well, it won't be a pilot program for too long if they keep doing that.
Exactly.
But they threw it on there, and this lineman from the Boilermakers, instead of getting it, he picks it up, he opens it, he drinks some of it, pours it on his face, and throws it away. and then proceeds to push our guys around over there, and the Boilermakers compiled 464 yards, so they didn't have any problem. But it didn't upset this guy. But what a jerk!
Yeah.
What's next, stupid? You gonna take your clothes off and run around the field?
Yeah. That happens too.
Oh, but I mean, throwing beer. What they ought to do is somebody ought to get this guy's picture, just like they did with Steve Bartman in Chicago. Get his picture, post it up by all the beer stands, and say, "There's no beer sold for this game thanks to this guy."
Yeah.
And he'll be a hero real quick, and he'll have to leave the state.
Well, there's always somebody in the crowd, and in your police days, Roger, Ray, and I, there's always somebody who takes a big dump in everybody's mess kit, and that's
well,
what this guy.
he's probably drunk. And first off, it should be a crime just throwing a full beer away like that. I mean, you pay $6-7 out there, and you're going to throw it on the field. It didn't do anything. He must have thrown it quite well because it got the guy. They got a picture of this lineman, and he's sitting there drinking the beer, and it's like a WWE match. That Stone Cold Steve Austin used to do that thing, smash it on the face. So anyway, that's my
That'll
ass.
work.
So now the
I
Iowa
agree.
fans will be
I
on me
agree.
about that. And it's not all fans. It's every stadium has one of these jacklegs in it.
Well, maybe that ass clown can hook up with Jen Psaki, and they can have a beer and
They can
throw
spray
beer
it
at
to
each
smash
other.
it. Yeah, because I also saw some stadiums, Chiefs. I saw they had a heck of a fight down there. Some drunks, and when you start adding alcohol in those crowds, large crowds like that, I don't know how long that's going to last.
Well, we call them in police work barley badasses. They get all liquored up and they become tougher and tougher.
So anyway, let's go into a couple of our topics, and
Okay.
I'm going to let you go first, and we can talk about COVID a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty serious thing that's going on right now.
Yeah, if you're watching national news right now, the Chicago Police Union is at big odds with Mayor Beetlejuice out there.
Mm-hmm.
She is mandating that the Chicago police officers be vaccinated.
I think that's going on in a lot of cities, and a lot of cities are having the same problem.
Yeah, and so a lot of folks don't understand what type of arena she takes herself and the city into when she tries to mandate health-related issues onto those police officers. She's violating their HIPAA rights. They also have contractual language that states specifically about safety, health, and welfare. So they're going to all get wrapped up in court, and it's already happened. So what she do? She goes to an activist judge who says you have to comply with her order. She's already in a city that's up to its neck in crime. It's has the highest homicide rate.
Right.
It's an unbelievable cesspool of crime. Why Chicago residents voted her in or keep her in office amazes me.
Well, here's my thing, and I've said this before. I'm a vaccination guy. I got the vaccination. I got it. I believe in it. But I don't believe in being forced to do it. I don't believe the government coming in and tell me. It's like, everybody knows smoking's bad for you. Do we force people not to smoke? No, we let them smoke. If I'm vaccinated, then why do I care if you, my partner, are not? I don't know how that affects me. And for them to force this versus saying, look, a lot of officers are dying. I think there's a soft sell to do it. You let the officers make the decision. If we're losing a lot of officers, which it's now the number one killer of law enforcement, let them make their decision. But the minute you start telling them you have to do this or you're not going to work, well, they're going to find out real quick because those officers, they're going to be down about a third over there.
50%.
And I don't know how you make that city run that city.
You don't. They're already down officers across the country. Then in Chicago, that averages 60 to 70 shootings a week on weekends with 20 homicides out of those shootings. This is crazy. This is lunacy. This is more of the left.
If you get if that happens to that city, I'm going to tell you, their tourist dollars are going to go dry up. Nobody's going to go there. I mean, it's going to be.
Why would you go there right now?
The left has done this. They did this through the defund the police. It's proven. It's caused more deaths. More crime has gone up. And now here they're coming with this COVID thing. And again, you don't have to force people to do it. Let them make their own decisions. Okay, let the officer make. It's his life. What happened to my body, my choice? What happened to that?
Well, it goes along the same lines as the radical progressives in this country are always after your gun rights. Now, you just talked a little bit ago about how many police officers are killed in the line of duty, right?
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
Okay. So one would think that if the Democrats are right on all this additional gun control law they preach constantly, that the first group of people who would be chairing their cause would be this nation's police officers, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But they don't. You know why? Because they understand gun violence is perpetrated not by the guns, but by jackasses who use guns. Of course, the Democrats have a soft approach to criminals. They are.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. The soft on it's not everybody's fault, but the criminal, but the guy doing it.
Yeah.
But this deal with these officers, like I said, officers aren't stupid people. I mean, they're eventually going. You know, if I'm working with you and you end up passing away from COVID, I'm probably going to go get a shot if I haven't.
I'm vaccinated, but I did it because I wanted to. And another thing too, on both sides of the aisle, COVID has been made political.
Yeah,
the masks are a moniker of the Democratic Party, and just for that reason, a lot of people don't want to wear them because they're not left-wing radical Democrats. It's a mess. Once again, part of the mess we're in.
Oh yeah. Well, the other issue I want to bring up, there's a vote coming up here November 7th or November 2nd up in Minneapolis. This is the big test deal where they tried to defund the police department up there, and I didn't know this. I had to do some research on this, and they tried to defund it here a while back. And this was sent to me by a guy by the name of Steve Allen. And they got sued by a resident up there and a person of color, Don Samuels. He was up there. He sued them to prevent them from cutting their budget and firing police officers. And the judge ruled against Minneapolis and made him do it, made him fund it. And he was talking, and there's some statistics here. You know, a 6-year-old girl was killed riding in a car. One was killed jumping on a trampoline. He was sick of the people in his neighborhood, so he sued and won. So now what the city council did, they came back and said, okay, we'll put it to a vote, and we can do it that way. So they got a vote coming up here, and it's called Defund the Police. It's vote yes for Minneapolis is the term, and it's coming up here. And I just want to tell people you got to pay attention. And for us, for our standpoint, we're real close to that. And we have some candidates that are running down here. I think there's one up at Ankeny. We're gonna have the mayor candidate, our guy coming on, but there's another Reimagine candidate. One of those people we talked about. They want to reimagine you without laws, without people. And so, and that article was done by the New York Times, who wrote that on.
Well, I put a
Samuel.
picture of the Minneapolis City Council on the Cop Talk USA Facebook page. Take a gander at this cluster of weirdos.
Well, here's
sickening.
Here's what and I read this, and it goes into detail. Politico put out a deal about this up there. It says specifically they're losing support. They probably won't have the votes up there to get this done. And some of the county, even the mayor's backing up on this now because they saw what happened. The crime's gone up.
I predict, we've talked about this, I predict in the midterms coming up that you're going to see a lot of people who are on the Democratic side lose their seats in government.
Right.
And then it's going to be an avalanche to get somebody who can actually lead this country in 24 with the presidential race. You know, Biden is incompetent. He's not doing what we elected. I didn't elect him, but I say this generically, what we elect him to do. He's a failure on all fronts, and we can't continue down this road as a country.
Well, like we talked about, the gift that keeps on giving for the Republicans.
Yeah. He's Santa Claus 12 months out of the year.
Oh, my God. It's just unfortunate. I saw today, a year ago today, gas was $1 cheaper.
Oh, did you see, speaking of Sleepy, did you see what he got caught doing Saturday?
Oh, no.
Him and his wife and some other highfalutin career politicians. Same thing, career politicians. They went out to some posh Georgetown restaurant and didn't wear his mask.
Oh, boy.
And when Peppermint Patty was confronted with that question, let's don't concentrate on the moment. Let's concentrate on the
They love that. Didn't we have Pelosi doing the same thing? Didn't you have Gavin out there in California doing the same thing?
Roger,
we won't focus on that. Let's focus about the border.
It's real easy
to
pick on the boneheads elected by boneheads, but the people that we really should take issue with are these legions of fools who put these yo-yos in office. They vote them in.
Right.
That's the problem.
Well, it's sad. We don't, we're a police law enforcement show, but we talk about politics because politics affects law enforcement, affects everybody.
Yep.
And so we got to talk that. And we got, people say, I want to hear just about police. Well, we're going to talk about everything we have to. And that's what we do. And unfortunately, they are making mistakes daily. So, I mean, it's not like we can skip a week and not say something.
Everything
They're
about
constantly doing
law
it.
enforcement, I don't care what city or state you're in the United States, is governed by your state statute, which is
Right.
those laws are written by politicians. County attorneys enforce the law. Municipalities hire police chiefs. They do the hiring for the rank and file. Everything about police work and, quite frankly, firefighting is driven by, supported by, or not supported by politics. It's a fact.
Yeah, it's something else. What I want to do now is we're going to go into a segment called Spotlight on Excellence because we've got Ray coming on the show, Des Moines police officer. We're going to highlight. We're going to take a good hard look at Des Moines this show. So the Des Moines Police Department. I'm going to read off some numbers and I'll have you go into some stuff. It's the largest. Most urban department in the state of Iowa. It's 372 sworn officers. They've got 104 civilian staff, which include dispatchers and whatever. They've got 3 divisions, administrative division, operations division, investigation division. I take it operations, they went from patrol division to calling it operation division.
Yeah,
that must be what
patrol services or
patrol.
something. Like that.
It's operational. Well, they have administrative services, operations division. It's run by Dana Ware, good friend of ours. Dana and his lovely wife. I know them very well. Tammy and Tammy doesn't run it, but she's there's a good woman behind every
Maybe
man
she
usually.
does. You never know.
They patrol a city of 215,000 residents, 82 square miles. They have 3 watches, 6:30 to 2:30, 2:30 to 10:30, and 10:30 to 6:30. Dave, you were down there. I know Ray's down there. Tell us about the departments because, I mean, those are categories, but it's so much. There's so much there that they do.
I retired at the rank of sergeant. Sergeant is basically a glorified senior police officer. It's the first level of management in law enforcement. My focus was always on supporting my troops because the Des Moines Police Department is full of exemplary men and women wearing that badge. And you're not good. You're going to have to look long and hard if you can find one to find an actual racist. These officers work 24/7, 365.
Right.
Year after year after year. When you're going to bed Christmas Eve, there's a whole bunch of men and women driving to the cop shop to take trips on Christmas evening. Okay. Thanksgiving. It just happens every holiday.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
they're good people, and they don't get this right now. This isn't unique to the Des Moines Police Department. Law enforcement across the country is not getting the support they deserve. Okay.
Well, and they've got. So tell me the departments they got down there. So you've got a theft and homicide.
In the detective bureau, it's split up to a bunch of different sections within the division. You've got crimes against persons, which is assaults, homicides, shootings, stabbings, things like that. You got crimes against property, which is burglary, theft, criminal mischief, hate crimes, and fire, arson investigation. Then within crimes against property, you also have the financial crime section. Okay, down the hallway, you're going to have sex abuse. Okay, and they have support personnel there. You have investigative assistants. Every single police case made at the Des Moines Police Department is assigned to somebody. Okay, it may be an investigative assistant, maybe a detective, maybe a traffic unit officer. Every case is assigned, and there'll be a disposition put to that case.
So, and then you have patrol division, which is your TAC unit, your bomb squad.
Ray was in the TAC unit for quite a number of years.
The bomb. Were you in the bomb squad? They give you a little hammer, go check the bombs. Dave was a bomb set. Tester.
Yeah,
and and they do all that. They've got an they got a great ident department. We talk about dispatchers and we talk about patrolmen, but we don't ever talk about ident. One day I want to get somebody like Lori.
We're going to get Greg.
Lori in here.
Yeah, we're going to get Greg Gord in here to talk to us about all the nasty stuff that they have to respond to.
I don't think people realize a lot of cases don't get solved without these people. They are they're
the forensic experts. They're the ones that help make a Loctite case to go to court.
You got a property division down there. All the stolen bikes that they catch you right around the bikes down there.
Anything you find, the officers come upon, weapons, cash, jewelry, money, bikes, whatever is controlled by the property section.
It's a great department. It's been around forever. One of the segments that we're going to do, and we're going to segue into this, is called Fallen But Not Forgotten. So we're going to look at a department each week, and we're going to talk to you about their fallen officers. Des Moines had 25 officers killed since they were inception, and I'm going to go through a quick little roll call of these guys, and then we're going to highlight one of them. And Dave,
Okay.
I know you're going to talk about that, and this goes way back. And I'm going to do my best with the names here. Elijah Wishart, 1891. He was killed by gunfire. August Becker, he died of a duty-related injury. Franklin Delmege, gunfire. William Mattern, 1918, gunfire. I mean, this is going back. Chief of Police Charles Chester Jackson, gunfire, got him. That was 1918. Detective Cornelius McCarthy, gunfire, got him, 1919. Ollie Thomas, gunfire, 1925. Gerald Pickett, 1925, motorcycle crash. James Staggs, vehicle assault, 1928. Captain Stephen Tabor Howard, gunfire, got him, 1930. George Wesley Shane, he got it by inadvertent gunfire. I think he dropped the gun, I read. He dropped it in dispatch, and it shot him and killed him.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Charles Andriano, 1964, automobile crash. James Rodine, he got it by inadvertent gunfire, and I think that was another one. Rupert Shepard, motorcycle crash, 1930. 1931, Joshua Cowart, gunfire. Harry Lynn Boughton, gunfire, 1932. Brian Charles Melton, 1977, that was gunfire. Dennis Earl Hill, gunfire, 1977 as well. So they had two officers down that year. Officer Sean Wisnick, automobile crash. Roger Hildreth, heart attack. Lieutenant David Allen Bowen, 2008, duty-related illness. And the last two, David, I want to make sure I pronounce these right.
Next up would be police officer Roger Hildreth.
How did he die?
He died from a heart issue.
Heart attack.
Heart issue on
Okay.
duty.
Okay.
Lieutenant Dave Bowen, he suffered a illness working down at the zoo, if I recall. Police officer Carlos Puentes Morales and police officer Susan Louise Farrell, they were together coming back from the Omaha area eastbound on I-235, and a drunk driver hit them head on.
Transporting a prisoner.
Transporting a prisoner.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. So,
and then we had Tony Baminio, who was slaughtered by some coward at Merle Hay and Sheridan. Before that, the same coward had gunned down an Urbandale police officer, Justin Martin.
he was well known at the department. That's the most recent one. I didn't know Tony.
Tony was super guy. I mean, all these officers were just great people. It just pisses you off to no end, particularly in the law enforcement family, that these people die sometimes the way they do at the hands of cowards and criminals and lowlifes. It just makes
Pure
me sick.
tragedy. Hate doing it, but I think it's important that we recognize these, and we'll do this on other departments. Certainly, Des Moines is one of the largest ones. Usually, it's one or two officers, but this was quite substantial.
Well, they're all tragic, but some of them are, the circumstances are just chilling.
Well, and we'll have a link on our website to this site where people can go and read about each one of these. I thought it was important to talk about not only current officers but past officers.
Yeah, I agree.
Because as they go, but we've highlighted one in particular.
This one happened less than a year before I came on the department, and it was the killing of Officer Dennis Hill. He was working in the paddy wagon when they were responding to a suspicious person, and a good friend of Ray and I's was in the wagon with him, John Meeker, and they showed up, I think it was near 16th and College, and they
in an alley there, wasn't it?
Well, they pulled up in the street there, and they were going to go look around for this joker. And as Dennis put the vehicle in park, he always had a habit of taking off his glasses and leaning forward to put them on the dash. That's when this puke shot with a shotgun and
Came out of the
struck,
bushes.
it struck Denny in the head. And then there was a pursuant foot chase and shooting that occurred. Another officer was shot, caught a pellet in the ankle, I believe, but they shot and killed this puke as he was trying to come over a fence.
Well,
So
Denny was only on there for how long? I think 5 years.
5 years, and the department was still reverberating from that when I got hired. And so it was, even though it was before my time, it was just before my time. And you heard about, his killing. It was still reverberating in the hallways.
It's always so tragic, and it shocks everybody. Not only the Des Moines department, shocks every department around. Everybody helps.
Unfortunately, it's all
hearing
too
about it.
common, and
So
it's an annual occurrence nationwide.
absolutely. Well, now we're going to move on to our guest of the day, David. I'm going to let you do the introduction.
It's my honor to introduce our guest today. It's recently retired Senior Police Officer Ray Gallardo. He's a 32-year plus veteran of the Des Moines Police Department, just retired a few months ago. Past president of the Iowa State Police Association, current vice president of the Police Protective and Benevolent Association, recent vice president to the Police Union. He's been a close, he became family with my family in 1964 when he and I met. Lobbyist, done a lot of lobbying in the Iowa legislature on behalf of police associations and the ISPA. He's an accomplished drummer. And simply put, he is just a high-quality, God-fearing
And not to mention, he's been your friend for how long?
Oh, 50.
You guys grew up? Something like that?
Probably close to 60 years, wouldn't you think, Ray?
I think so.
Oh, my God. Well, welcome, Ray. Welcome to the program.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming out, and maybe you can break out the Dave Murillo file, and we could talk about Dave.
I don't know.
We got
I don't know about that.
Get the special inside scoop on our.
He's always digging, Ray. He's always
our
digging.
hero. Always trying to do an investigation on Dave. So you were down there in patrol. Tell us a little bit about your experience. You've been in patrol, TAC unit.
Well, obviously got hired in 1989
Right.
and went right to patrol. From there, I worked up in the inner city, at the time, south
Up
side.
at the block.
Then I went to the block and I went to the gang unit at the time. In the early 90s, we had a lot of gang issues.
Sure.
Bloods and Crips and BGDs. They were all in Des Moines trying to get a hold of Des Moines, because if you look at a map, we're right in the middle of Chicago, Omaha, Kansas City, and Minneapolis. So if they could control that intersection there, they'd be.
Are they still prevalent here?
Oh, I don't know, maybe not those particular gangs. A lot of little thugs, I think, but nothing like those.
Not like back in the 90s.
No, that was
Not like
bad.
back
There
in
was
the
a
90s.
lot of drive-by shootings. So I was in that unit for like 6 years. From there, I went to the tactical unit and ended up becoming marksman observer, which is a kinder, gentler term for snipers.
Right. Oh,
So I did that for 13 years. Ended up becoming an instructor as well.
did you ever have to take action? Did you ever have to act on that?
No,
You deployed probably a couple
well, I
times.
got deployed a lot. My partner at this particular time was Bob Krause. And we deployed on a bank robber that had just robbed a bank on the south side of Des Moines. They found his vehicle. They were behind it. And at the time, Technical High School, which is, it's still there. It's called something different now. But anyway, the bridge that went over the railroad tracks at the time, that's where they stopped him. So that became a full-blown
scene, huh?
Yes, hostage. Well, not really hostage, but he had a gun. He wasn't giving himself up and that type of thing. So we got deployed. Bob Krause and I ended up on like the second or third floor of the school there. We had a visual, right? It was like a 100-yard shot. It was like.
So he started shooting. He was going to
He
be
didn't
history.
shoot yet. He had it in his hand and he was threatening with it. They had the negotiators. They had everybody else out there.
Right.
And we were, telling ourselves, well, if he raises it up and points it, we got to.
Do they still have that unit down there?
Oh, yeah.
See, they never had that when I was there. I don't think the TAC unit. I don't recall ever seeing that. So must have came on after I left.
They got more advanced after.
Yeah.
They got rid of them. They got rid of the goofballs like me and got some real.
Yeah, you
policemen
drove
in
the
there.
Fred Flintstone.
That's what,
Well, it's just like any other department. When you have to look at it like an insurance policy
Right.
for the city. When something bad happens, you got to have people that are well trained to be able to take care of and diffuse any type of situation like that.
when the president comes to town, do they utilize that as well?
Yes.
Because I know the Secret Service has snipers, but
They
utilize-
had become, well, we had at that time the unit had really become very credible, and we used to take the Secret Service out to the range so that they could get a 0 on their rifle, for the temperature, humidity, and all that.
Right.
Well, we obviously became friends with them, and they trusted us, so we would go out and deploy with them.
Well, there's not a lot,
oftentimes.
and there's not a lot of departments. Sometimes they run departments they don't trust, but they trust them.
Yeah,
they trusted
did.
you guys.
We had well, they still do have a real top-notch program.
So you were in that division. You were there, and then you moved on. Did yourself? You know where I saw you, and I told you this earlier. I saw you on TV at the Capitol during just recently during the protest, and it looked like you were
bring that up.
It looked like you were in a WWE match. You know, they were wrestling. And I was waiting for the body slam, and it looked like a big old free for all going on up there. Isn't that the one where they grabbed the officer's gun?
Yeah, I was working the wagon. Winding out my last days as a police officer on the wagon, thinking, there's all we do is transport people. That can't be very bad. We don't respond to trips. However, we did at time to time. This particular instance, we went to pick up a couple prisoners. We get there and they were fine, very compliant. Detectives were there with the troopers, and I thought something's going on here. Well, they said that there's a female inside the building with the group, Black Lives Matter, wanting to get in to talk to the governor, which obviously they weren't going to be able to do that. But they knew that one of the suspects from destroying that squad car in front of Hy-Vee on the south side was in there. And they had given her, I don't know, he said, one of the detectives said they gave her like 3 opportunities to turn herself in, and she wouldn't. So they were going to go in and get her.
She wanted to make a statement, wanted to make a fight. Okay.
So they went in to get her. And of course, we're standing by, and I see them come out of the building, and then all of a sudden, here, all of them come right behind them. They're just right behind them, getting in their ears and their face.
They're going to arrest her.
Yes, that was very prevalent at the time. They were saying that a lot. Well, anyway, long story short, it all blew up like you saw on TV.
Yeah, right, for the TV cameras are there, and I was waiting for the ring announcer, and this guy, it looked like
actually, that event ended my career. I mean, I ripped my shoulder out.
Oh, no.
And both shoulders. Of course, you don't know at the time. And the doctor said, I can put it back together, but if you do this again, your quality of life isn't going to be good.
Yeah, you always got to take that in consideration. They arrested a lot of people there that night, didn't they? Quite a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
Filled the wagon up.
Yeah,
Fill them up.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you ever filled that wagon up
Yep.
with people?
Yep.
Once or twice, maybe?
Remember, it used to be just 2 long bench seats. It was still like that.
Still is. Yeah.
And they had the screen that separated the policemen from the people in the back.
Oh, sure. We had some people like that one time. I shouldn't tell the story. We picked a guy up one night, and he was in a wheelchair, and we put him in, and somebody forgot to lock the wheels on the and the wagon. Boom!
Well, I tell you what, there's some dandies that you pick up. There was a female that actually ruined one of our wagons.
How do you ruin a steel wagon?
Apparently it was a steel box enclosed in the back. I mean, they kind of built them up a little bit better than probably what you guys had. But anyway, I think there must have been a break in the bottom seal where they, welded or whatever. Well, this particular female, I nicknamed her the urinator. And
great.
She let it go, several times back there. And I guess this particular time, I wasn't working the wagon. 2 others were working it. They told me about it. And it seeped into the cab, the front part, and it saturated one of the officers' lunch bag.
Oh, the urinator.
Yes, the urinator.
Oh, don't we miss that? Yeah. That's like picking up the drunks and
they vomit all over.
You got to wear your clothes. Yeah, I hope nobody's playing this during dinner time.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not pretty.
It's such an interesting deal. So you did that, and did you ever go up in detectives and work in detectives?
I worked 32 years all in uniform.
All in uniform. Yeah. Well, I mean,
he is the
it's by
pinnacle
choice
of a street cop. Okay, his whole career was spent in that uniform division in one capacity or another.
You got to know a bunch of people. Well, I want to do this, Ray, and I know you've told a story, but we have a segment on here that we do, and we usually there had to be one call that you took that you remember. Other than the urinator, I mean that's a tough one to top. But there something that shook you to the bone that did that, and we kind of go through an entry on that. Bob, you want to hit that? Real emergency trips told by the officers who took them. So I'll just let you kind of freewheel it and tell me about something.
Well, over 32 years, I shouldn't say it's it's kind of hard. You come across a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of things that I've seen, and I wish I didn't
Didn't
you know,
see.
and but unfortunately that's the nature of this beast. But I know Dave Morello was there at the Drake Diner, and that's probably one of the most horrific crime scenes
That you went
I've
into,
seen.
that you got
I've
in?
seen a lot, but that was pretty bad.
When you got up there, was Dave there already?
Yes.
Dave, I think Chip Beardsley was there too.
we got called out. I was on the gang unit at the time, so we all got called out because they thought that this looked like a gang-related initiation type of a thing, where they'll do things like that just to.
It was just stupidity. I mean, it was stupidity.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, just what you saw, you can't unsee. You know,
It was those people, and again, we're not going to go into any
No.
detail on that because
I'd rather- I wish
respect
you
for those people and obviously the officers, because it can be. To go the other way, is there anything funny you ever remember? Funny trip? Anything that Dave showed up and his pants fell down? Or,
unfortunately, I wish.
bird crapped on their hat.
that happened to you, yeah.
That'd be me. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, I never had the pleasure of taking a call with Dave.
It was always kind of
He was-
maintained.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many funny things.
I mean,
you don't want to make
hey,
fun
Ray,
of people, but you know, certain things.
Tell them about in fact, you were applying for the police department, and I talked you into calling down and talking to Sergeant Patch.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, you called in as Elvis Presley. And
Yeah,
you were concerned. Tell Roger.
I used to mess around like that.
You do the Elvis impression?
Yeah, and Dave thought that was funny. He goes, "Hey, why don't you call Dale Patch? He was a sergeant at the time, and just kind of mess with him." So I got on the phone. Hello, Elvis. Elvis. This is Dale Patch. Nice to meet you. So it kind of went from there.
Patch just got to roll with it.
But he was a funny guy.
Oh,
I
Pat-
mean, I got a story about him. If we
Well,
have time.
let's hear a Patch story. We love Dale Patch.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was on the tactical unit, and they had a big sting operation with the troopers, the county, Des Moines. We were all going to hit like 6 different places all simultaneously. So myself, West Des Moines officer, and 2 troopers were on our team.
Right.
And we had to go to a house and hit this particular house looking for an individual. Well, the West Des Moines officer, he goes, "Here's what we're going to do. Knock on the door. I'm going to make up a name." And we know that, you know, he's going to say, "Oh, yeah, he doesn't live here. Come on in and take a look around." And we'll get our foot in the door.
Right.
We'll look. So that worked. Well, I'm in the basement. And I can hear the guy upstairs starting to get aggravated.
Right.
So I go up there, and the truth came out. So he got mad. So we're leaving. There was nobody in there, and and we're leaving. And the guy, "I want your name. I want your badge number." I said, "Well, my name's Dale Patch." And so
Dale Patch.
we go back in service, and I get a call from a lieutenant. Well, no, it was Dave Lillard, I think, called.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on the command post. He goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you." Chief Bradshaw was there. She said, "Hey, did you tell somebody that you were Dale Patch?" I said, "Yeah, I did." So, well, he wants to see you because evidently the guy had a caseworker, and he needed medication like every day, and this lady would come to get. Well, he was still mad, so she calls down at the police station, and at the time Dale Patch was working in internal affairs.
Oh no!
So she calls to complain. Yeah, Dale Patch was over, and he was the one that answered the phone. He goes, "Well, ma'am, I can tell you that wasn't Dale Patch because that's who you're talking to."
Oh, then she really went off.
So I had to go see him. So I go upstairs and tried to find him. He was up in the stairwell at the time. They'd go up there to smoke out and blow smoke out the window. And
Right.
So I go up there. I said, "You want to see me, sir?" And he's facing out the window. He goes, Did you tell somebody your name was Dale Patch?" I said, "Sir, I'd never do that. Why would I do that?" He goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, I did. I did." So, and I could see his shoulders going up and down like he's laughing.
Oh, he's a
and he
great
said,
guy.
"That's a good one. That's
Yeah,
a good,
you got it.
don't ever do that again."
Don't ever get it.
Dale, Roger, I remember a little more details about him calling Sergeant Patch when he was applying.
Right.
We had rotary phones, so you could listen to each other's phone calls. I was working crime analysis, so when Ray called in, we all punched in, and Patch's nickname was Lumpy. He hated that nickname. And so Ray says, he says, "Hello, Lumpy, this here's the king." And dead silence from Sergeant Patch, you know, and Ray says, "You better lay off them Twinkies and ding-dongs, fat boy, or you're going to vapor lock on the toilet." So Ray gets hired,
Right.
and he's in his academy suit in the hallway because all the rookies come down during the academy, you know. And I remember Patch saying, "Oh," he says, You Elvis? And Gallardo's just,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Well, I mean, everybody knows policemen have a good time. I mean, they have a lot of fun. They kid around a lot. Dave's the king of kidding around. I should tell the story about our good friend Larry Stugard when you decided to sign him up for a subscription to a certain magazine and had it delivered to the department. Now, anybody knows the mail doesn't go right to it. It goes through about 3 levels. And Dave signed Larry up for a year subscription of a certain kind of magazine that was very embarrassing. And it kept coming every month.
I signed him up for Playgirl.
Playgirl, yeah.
Yeah. And it went to Chief Teal first because, like you say, all the mail went through him.
Right.
And I remember Chief Teal walked in and he says, what in the hell are you doing subscribing to this shit? You can edit that out, Bob. Yeah. But, cops they're the master of practical jokes.
Well, and that's because that's a way to deal with stress.
It is.
You get, there's not many jobs out there, folks, that you go to that every day you got to wonder whether you're going to come back in that door or be injured, or, you don't go to Target thinking there's going to run into a guy who's going to try to kill you or slice you up.
Well, the thing about police work is, everybody else has the luxury of listening to the news. Okay.
Right.
We had a fatality on I-235 westbound. Well, the blue suits and the firefighters are there. Okay. They have to respond to that and see that and deal with the people who are, are injured or passed away and their family members. So that's why one of many reasons why I have tremendous respect for police officers and firefighters.
Ray, your family, what do they think about you becoming a police officer?
Well,
were they all for it?
No, my mom was, obviously opposed and didn't.
Concerned about it?
I came on when I was 31, so I was a musician before that, and for like 15 years.
And we got to talk about that. No, I love to. We talk about police work. Tell us about you played the band you played in, and you're a heck of an accomplished drummer, I understand.
Well, I mean,
he's
adequate.
Good. He's good, real good.
I could get hired, but I'm not the best.
Okay. You can
I keep good time. Let's put it that way.
You can do that. So, what bands have you played? Legal Limit.
Well, yeah, but before I came on, for those old people like us, they'll remember the band, the Cavaliers, back in the day. I played with them for like 6 years, and left that band to become a policeman, and then started the Legal Limit band in the early 90s. I knew a bunch of, musicians, Mike Moody, of course, and, all of us.
Were all those guys in that band from the department?
Yes.
So they're all police officers that play this. I'm surprised we don't see more of that with other departments.
And then, what was nice about that, actually, it was we just wanted to let off some steam, just have fun.
Right.
Well, at the time, some little girl got abducted on the south side from an elementary school, and at that time we had that community
some outreach program.
Yeah, the weight room is where it was at.
Yeah.
But they wanted him to come and give a speech to the kids on, stranger danger and this type of thing. So he called us, goes, "Hey, you guys got a band together?" And we said, "Well, yeah, we got like 5 songs." He said, "Maybe." And he said, "It'd be cool if you guys came and played for the kids." I said, "Oh, geez, I don't know." He goes, "Oh, they'll love it. They won't know any different." And so we did.
You're all in uniform?
Yep, we're all in uniform, and apparently the chief's phone was ringing off the wall the next week. Every school in the city wanted us to come and play. So we developed a program talking about, hot topic items, for kids, stay away from drugs, gangs, that type of thing. And we'd play for an hour. Well, we did that for, 13 years.
13 years.
After that, yeah. We went to all over the place.
Well, Roger, it was without a doubt, the best public relations program the Des Moines Police Department has ever embarked upon. They played to tens of thousands of kids.
Well, they say nothing brings people together like music.
I got a box of CDs I'll bring over here. You guys can hand out to your guests. If you
Absolutely. You sign them. You hear that, folks? Autographed CDs. We'll be giving those away.
Now I'm currently in a band too right now. Rescue Dogs is the name of the band. So we played for a couple years, and then COVID hit, and now we're kind of trying to get back.
Now you did bar gigs?
Bar gigs and private
Wells
events.
Fargo, anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Do the Well. And
Madison Square Garden.
What did you think of Moody's video he did?
Oh, it was awesome.
Wasn't that something?
Oh, my God, yes. It was amazing.
We put it up, and if you've got a video of your new deal, are you guys playing this weekend anywhere?
No.
Are you playing next weekend?
I will let you know.
You let us know. We'll put it up on our deal, because folks, I got to tell you got to see Ray. I saw some older video of it, and it looks good. And the Legal Limit, and
you go to YouTube, watch some videos. DMPD Legal Limit.
All right, I think don't we have that put up?
Yep,
I think
one of them.
Dave put that up. Well, yeah, I mean, doing that. Now, you're also selling insurance.
Yeah, I've been an agent with the Police and Firemen's Insurance Association since 2002. Dave and I actually went out together when we were approached by Tom Kleins back then.
That's about right.
He said that, well, of course, it's a fraternal type of organization, and they only insure police officers, firefighters, and our families, nobody else. And he came out and said, hey, I want to get Des Moines back in this program. And we said, what do you mean back? He said, yeah, we had a representative back in the 50s that retired and never passed on the torch to anybody else to carry it on. So we went and...
Is that, are you pretty active in that? Do you?
Well, I still am.
Do that. How many, do they give obviously like a first responder rate?
What it is, it's like, so we have plans that are just, police and firemen, and like accidental disability, cancer policies, accidental death, term and.
So you've been doing that for a while, and now you're continuing that's the plan.
It kind of keeps me in touch, and I do police and fire departments.
Now, how do people get a hold? How do officers? Because we have a following among law enforcement. How do they get? And you, not just Des Moines, you do anybody, right?
Yeah.
How do they get a hold of you for that?
Well, I don't know if I like the way you said that. I do anybody.
When he's drunk, man.
When he's lit up.
There was that one time, but I needed a ride home.
How would they contact you, Ray? How would they contact you?
Well, you can email me at ray.gallardo, GALLARDO, the number 13 at Gmail.
Okay.
And I can get
Roger, one thing I want to emphasize when we're talking about PFIA to all the men and women in blue and in the fire departments, it's not if you get injured, it's when you get injured. Make sure you insure yourself to take care of your family's finances when you're down, because you're going to get hurt sooner or later.
That's important. That's important, I think. And I know, when you retire, they give you benefits coming there, but sometimes is it important to reinvest something?
I've been a policy holder for years. This is good stuff. They have everything from cancer coverage to life insurance to replacing your income if you're injured from your off-duty work. It's just amazing coverage.
Well, it's important for that. And when officers leave, and today everybody's trying to cut stuff back. Now, Des Moines hasn't seen that, but you hear about that around the country. They're always trying to do that. Well, I think that's great. The band's great, and we want to put you up there. And Dave, I don't know if you have anything for Ray. Or
no, once again, he and I go back since we were little niños, and all right. Before we leave, any one story? Give me something. Give me something about Murillo. He as a kid or whatever. He got in trouble.
I can throw myself under the bus too. When he and I used to go with my uncle Jess Valdez, who's passed away, and his dad, Abel, they bowled on a bowling team. Okay. So we used to go with them. We were kids. We were little kids, and we'd run around, all over the place and doing things there at the bowling alley and away from there too. But we these microwave ovens were something back then.
They were just coming in.
Just coming out. Yeah. So we were throwing like packets of mustard and ketchup in there, trying to blow up.
They would spin, Roger. They would. Remember, they went like a propeller as they heated up, and then boom, they'd blow up.
And we'd laugh and take until we got yelled at.
I think he still does that. I think he does that. I think he did that at an apartment.
And that was a mild story because I don't want to get my brother.
We've done
the secret files of Dave Murillo.
And I just want to say too, thank you for everything, David. You, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
No,
this
guy
did
he take your spot in the union? Or you were?
No, we were on the I was chief steward, and then Ray got into the associations. We were both in the Protective and Benevolent Association called the Burial, PBA, and then in the bargaining unit. So Ray was holding both positions simultaneously. I only held one position at a time.
So he goes both.
So ways? He's a two-edged dagger.
He goes both ways.
El cuchillo. No, this is a good man right here. He became family years ago. His mom is a sweetheart. His brothers and sisters, we're all close, tight-knit people. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be.
And they're in that department in Des Moines. They have a lot of Hispanic officers down there, don't they? I mean,
well, they've lost some. They've lost some.
Tony Gomez was there when I was there.
They're gone. Gomez, the Gonzalez brothers, Gomez, Negrete, Gallardo is left. I'm gone. I told Wingert the other day jokingly, I said, "Man, you're running out of Mexicanos."
You bet. You got to check. Yeah, but
they're hiring. They're hiring all the time down there. So if you can if you can pass the background test and the physical test and all the scrutiny, they want you. You know, that's just the way it is. They need cops.
Bob, nope.
Bob have to get a haircut.
Bob, you got to get here. Bob's styling again today.
Yeah, his
got-
pants are checkered today. They were just
Bob, I love that. I love your outfit. Don't you change? Don't go changing at all. Don't go changing.
I knew that was coming.
Ray, jump on in there. Well, look, thanks for coming out, Ray.
Oh,
buddy.
thanks for having
it was
me.
nice
Appreciate
having you.
it.
We want to have you back. We'll do this again, and
Yeah, every week we'll be out here with a guest and talking about the issues.
we're going to be talking about stuff. I want to remind everybody: go out and tell somebody about the program. Tell a friend. We try to keep it in. Next week we've got the singing officer.
We got senior police officer Mike Moody coming in to talk about all his
Please,
endeavors. Ray and him are super close friends. I'm close friends.
We were
with
partners
Mike.
for like 8 years.
I call Moody. He's like police royalty. You know?
Yeah.
You got the family members all there, and his dad. The one story I got about his dad, I got to ask him about this. Bill got me interested. This is his dad. He was a lieutenant. And there's a story going around that when he would go out when he was a patrolman and he was in the boxing into the Gold Gloves, he used to carry a mouthpiece with him. Before he'd go in the bars, he'd put the mouthpiece in. He'd go in the bar. Tough as a. And
he was.
And when he was a lieutenant, I wouldn't fool with him. As a young officer, I was scared of him, But Mike's going to be on. He's going to talk about that. And we're going to play some of his video.
Yep.
And
He's
we've
a
got
handsome man, isn't he?
Oh.
Those dreamy eyes.
David.
Yeah.
They're like Roy Roger eyes. aren't
You
they?
know what? I think that Mike, Chuck Grassley, and Rick Host might have been triplets separated. at
I don't
birth.
know. I remember going on a call one time, and this girl goes, "Oh, your eyes, you have bedroom eyes." And I said, well, what the hell are these? These bathroom eyes? What do I got going on?
You felt a little offended. You got a little upset.
Ray and I had eyes like that in high school, but we won't talk about how we got
They
them.
always look at me. They always look at me and go, "Put a bag over your head. Get out of here." No, we're gonna have him on. We got mayoral candidate coming on out of Ankeny up there. He's gonna be joining us, and a lot of hot topics every week. We got the topics.
Hey, also, Roger, we'll plug the Facebook page. We've got a bunch of people and organizations and businesses that are vying to buy some advertising here. So if you support police officers, give us a call. The
Absolutely.
contact information's on the web. Buy an ad. Support the police.
And we want to tell everybody we're on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Apple, the whole 9 yards. You can go to our website. Now, one thing about the website, if you've got kind of a dicey internet connection, it might be you might want to try one of the other platforms, but because we've heard people who their internet connection is not great.
Yeah,
It frees up or something.
the YouTube connection will. You'll
That's
have
a good
smooth
strong. For some
transition.
reason, we don't have
You
any.
don't have
issue.
any internet problems.
That Spotify, Google, Stitcher, you can all do that. Call us. Facebook, Cop Talk USA, send mail. I mean, we do all that. That's all on our site. So we want to have you come back. I want you folks to stay vigilant. Vigilant? Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's a big word for you,
I'm
Roger.
very vigilant. I want you to stay that. Watch out. Use your common sense, and support law enforcement. Support the candidates who support law enforcement. And do that. So,
Alrighty.
Bob, you did a good job today, buddy.
Good job, Bob.
You got
Thanks,
some
Bob.
You got a little editing to do.
Yeah.
But
Make
we'll be good.
us sound good, Bob.
Make us sound pretty. Make Dave sound pretty. Okay, everybody. Well,
righty.
thanks, Dave, for coming.
All right.
Ray,
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ray.
Thank you.
see you guys next
See you
week.
guys. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Cop Talk USA with your hosts, Murillo and French.